From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join us for this special edition of The Exchange as we pay tribute to the Filipina and celebrate her milestones and achievements, because your business is our business. This month, we honor women and their contributions to society and the world.
Empower one woman, and she herself will raise others with her.
The Philippines is making great strides in narrowing the gap between women and men. But much still has to be done to break gender stereotypes and prejudice against women.
Politicians, especially sa province, they think women are weak.
How are trailblazing Filipinas changing and challenging the norm, especially in a crisis? A young Filipina explorer from the Cordilleras is making her voice heard around the world to make the case for change through her passion for nature and culture, and taking part in the heroic mission to end the pandemic one dose at a time. The vision for a COVID-free Philippines in our C-Suite vision. This March, the world honors women and their invaluable contributions to history and culture. In the country, women are taking on bigger leadership roles. Let's now have an exchange with two young lady mayors who broke the glass ceiling in their provinces. Mayor Jasmine Maligaya Bautista from Magallanes Town in Cavite and Mayor Joy Salvame from Ibaan Town in Batangas. Mayors, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Mayor Jasmine, let's start off with you. What did it take for you to become the first female mayor of Magallanes?
I started when I was the first vice mayor in Magallanes. So from there, I finished my 3 terms and became the first mayor in Magallanes, first woman mayor in Magallanes.
And we are really very proud of your service to the people of Magallanes. So Mayor Joy, tell us, what was the journey like to becoming the first female mayor of Ibaan?
It's really very challenging because of the expectations, diba? Siyempre, it's a patriarchal society, and considering I'm not natively from Ibaan, so it's a really big, huge expectation that I need to prove. So, but it's, that's where the challenges happen, yung magandang parte. That's where the happiness could come from, yung serving it with challenge talaga.
And Mayor, you've really risen to the challenge and you have done so many good things for the town. Mayor Jasmine, Mayor Joy, let's now listen to your fellow Mayor, Doña Tesoro of San Manuel, Tarlac, on the challenges on being a female politician.
I got discriminated for being a female politician. Kaya naman, the politicians, especially sa province, they think women are weak. They think we are too emotional and that we can't contribute a lot to society. But I am proud to have represented the female sector in the youth.
So Mayor Joy, what needs to change in local politics so we will have more female leaders?
Well, as they always say, Mr. Rico, that they said the women are emotional and they, some of them don't believe that we deserve to be leaders. For me, right now, this decade, this what's happening to our country. I believe if being emotional is being loving, being resilient, and by nature, you're more having a enduring. I think that those emotions are more of an asset right now. So women leaders should be one of those na kailangan ng town natin in our country. So if that emotions is an asset, then why not? Diba?
Mayor Jasmine, what about for yourself? How can we further empower women in the rural areas?
I think in the rural areas like my town in Magallanes, Cavite, we have lots of programs here empowering our women. Like we have cooperative women here that has livelihood projects. And we also have maternal care packages for our women, so we protect their health, especially the health. Kasi in the country, we are far less in terms of protection to our women. Konti na po yung kumbaga lahat yung healthcare system natin for our women, yung maternal care package like maternal morbidity ay mataas po.
And indeed, you have done so much in your first term as mayor. Mayor Joy, how are businesses and constituents in Ibaan coping during this pandemic?
It's really drastic on our end right now, considering that we are a piggery industry. The ASF made it worse for our part. However, we did our best with the Provet and the national, with the DA, that awa po naman ng Diyos that the Ibaan was not declared as a red zone. So far, we are on the process of repopulation and the testing of our ng ating mga biik, ano po, so we are doing our best right now, but siguro po still I was able to get my target. So far po siguro it's a cooperation between yung mga businesses and the local government. So I'm very proud to say thank God we're doing well pa naman po. We're able to cope up.
And as a first-term mayor, Jasmine, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's so many challenges. What is your vision for Magallanes as we as a people continue to fight this COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, my vision for me to continue our public services here in Magallanes. Of course, even if it's pandemic, we need to provide basic services to our community. And we hope to be an agri-ecotourism in our municipality. So in spite of this pandemic and in spite we are having difficulty in providing development projects here in our town, we are still in strategy to still move forward and look into the brighter side of things and provide the necessary services for our town. And at the same time, we shouldn't forget to move forward and take it one at a time as this challenge increases.
And Mayor Joy, what is your advice to women who want to be in politics and public service?
Well, it's not true that you should not be emotional at times. You could use it as a positive and a weapon, against a patriarchal society. We need more a caring nature that sparks love language to help the livelihood, especially the women. We have to educate them, enable them. In short, us being fearless, us being naggers, at this time, in point of time, it's a good thing. So we need more balance po talaga na magkaroon ng women leaders. So I encourage them to be one and make it in action po talaga to help the women community.
And what about for you, Mayor Jasmine? What advice would you like to share with the women who are watching right now on the exchange who want to be in public service?
Well, I think you have to be strong and you have to step up and not consider yourself that you are just a woman, but you are a woman with substance and you can contribute to the society. And women nowadays, especially in our country, really portrays a big role in our country. Some of our women nowadays, a lot of percentage goes to managerial and supervisory jobs in our country. So marami na rin po dalawa na rin po ang naging presidente natin na babae. Marami din po tayong mga senador at mga congresswoman in the lower house and the upper house. And even in the local government unit, marami na rin po tayong mga mayors and councilors. So, ibig sabihin, kinikilala na po ang kababaihan dito sa ating bansa, at I can really say that women now is at par with men.
Well said, mayors. Thank you so much for joining us on the exchange, and we are indeed very proud of your achievements. Mayor Jasmine Maligaya Bautista and Mayor Joy Salvame. And now here's a rundown of the week's top business stories. Prices of basic goods rose faster in February, with food and transport driving the surge again. The country's outstanding debt breached 10.3 trillion pesos last month as the government borrows more to fund COVID-19 response initiatives. And cinemas have been allowed to reopen in general community quarantine areas, but some malls are keeping them shut pending local government approval. And straight ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business, mobile users, a new telco player is coming your way very soon with a promise of cheaper and faster internet speeds. And who is the Filipina inspiring you the most? We'll read your responses and share more stories of women making a change, one advocacy at a time. Stay tuned to CNN Philippines. News you can trust.
Hindi pa po pantay. Kasi marami pa rin pong nangyayaring gender inequality, lalo na sa trabaho. Minamaliit pa rin po, meron pa rin pong mga misogynistic.
Sa tingin ko po, hindi pa po eh. Kasi parang iniisip pa rin ng mga iba na parang mahina pa rin yung mga babae. Ganon. Hindi nila kayang gawin yung nagagawa ng lalaki.
Kahit mapababae, kaya na po nilang gawin yung mga trabaho ng kalalakihan, and inahayaan na rin po yung mga kababaihan ngayon na mamuno or maging pinuno ng isang samahan.
I'm so happy you're staying with us right here on The Exchange, where your business is our business. I'm Rico Hizon. New telco Dito reveals areas that will be part of its rollout in the Visayas and Mindanao. They will be accepting new subscribers from 15 areas, including Cebu and Davao, starting March 8. And it hopes to make services available nationwide this June. Young Filipinas are pushing the boundaries to advance their advocacy in the global stage. Two of them made it to the prestigious Young Explorers Group of the National Geographic Society. And they are part of 24 young global change makers who are on the front lines of the most complex and urgent issues of the world. Let's now have an exchange with Josefa Tauli, a proud member of an ethnic group in Baguio who advocates for biodiversity and ethnic people's rights. Josefa, thank you so much for joining us. Why did you make these issues your advocacy?
First of all, I'm really thankful for this opportunity to talk about Indigenous people's issues, which really deserve to be amplified much more in mainstream media. And to answer your question, I'm very proud of my identity as an Igorot. It's something that always grounds me in what I do in terms of advocacy. It's also something that I've cared for since I was young, coming from a family of Indigenous people's rights activists. Something not nearly emphasized often enough is that Indigenous peoples play very crucial roles in safeguarding and caring for the world's most biodiverse areas. And it's because of our deep connections with our lands. And this is something that more people really need to understand much more.
So, Josefa, how do you plan to use this Nat Geo Young Explorers platform for the effective participation of the youth in these issues?
So I'm very excited to use the opportunity for the capacity development of basically targeted towards Indigenous youth, so that these can help facilitate access to information and the process like by which we can gain confidence to represent ourselves in decision-making spaces about the environment, which have such deep implications for our future and the quality of life we get to enjoy in the future.
So, Josefa, how has the response been of the indigenous youth to your advocacy?
I'm seeing, a lot of people have been really happy, and I'm also like happy that that there is a lot of support, and it warms my heart because to know that there is support from where I'm from, which is always like something very valuable.
Absolutely, because the voices, Josefa, of the indigenous people have to be heard in the decision-making spaces and processes, no? It's not just an issue. Now, you are raising it on the global stage.
Yes, definitely. One of the things I do is I engage in international biodiversity policy spaces. And in these spaces, like there needs to be much more recognition of this role, of this important, of the important value that we bring to safeguarding nature.
And are there efforts from the government and the private sector to help you out?
Well, for instance, like the opportunity given by National Geographic supports the amplification of our messages. These kinds of messages that bring the messages of justice and equity to a wider listening base. The government, in terms, basically, there are a lot of governments who are also supportive of this.
And I'm sure you're not alone in the family in this advocacy, Josefa. How supportive are your parents and your family in furthering these initiatives on the environment and indigenous people's rights?
They are very supportive. They're one of my biggest mentors, not just my parents, but also my extended family. They have been advocating for indigenous people's rights, land for a long time now. And I learn a lot from them on how to navigate these issues and stay grounded to the values of indigenous people.
That's wonderful to know that your family and your extended family are very supportive of your initiatives. So tell me, Josefa, who are your women idols? Give me your top three because of their leadership and passion for service.
I would really choose a few people from my family. My mom is such a brave and principled activist for the environment and for women. My aunt, Joanna Carino, also they're all really just brave people who are not afraid to kind of talk about the important issues that people don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about. But these are absolutely important.
Josefa, you are what our community needs today, a change maker who has empathy, tenacity, passion, and an insatiable drive to seek solutions to build a sustainable future. Thank you so much for this youth exchange. Josefa Tauli, 2020 Young Explorer of the National Geographic Society. Well, women are breaking barriers and inspiring generations of change makers. Earlier, we asked you, who is the Filipina inspiring you the most? We got overwhelming responses, and here are some of them. Brian Ray says, Melchora Aquino, also known as Tandang Sora, the mother of the Philippine Revolution, a motherly figure who fought for our independence in her own ways. For Cristel May, Filipina medical frontliner, sacrificing each day selflessly during this pandemic. Your strength inspires so many of us, and we wish you the best of health. Jojo Kinga says, OFW na Filipina domestic helper, namuhuna ng pawis, luha, lungkot, takot at sipag upang maihahon sa hirap ang kanyang mga mahal sa buhay, lalong-lalo na ang kanyang mga anak. And Stephen Cañete honors no less than his mother on Women's Month. Just like Josefa, she went to law school with a child and took the bar while pregnant. She was appointed as a judge without any backing from a politician. Well, to our viewers, thank you so much for inspiring us with all of these stories. CNN Philippines will continue to share views of women who empower and inspire this whole month of March on our social media pages. And still ahead on The Exchange, where your business is our business, how this social media giant is helping set the record straight on vaccines. And this company is working towards a COVID-free Philippines, one vaccine dose at a time. Stay tuned to CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust. So excited you're staying with us for this special edition of The Exchange, where your business is our business. Business tycoon Manny Pangilinan says the time is soon to step down as PLDT CEO. When asked about vacating his post once the telco becomes stable financially, he said he's not the type to cling to power. And Twitter is stepping up efforts to combat vaccine misinformation. The social media giant announced it will be labeling content about vaccines that could be false or misleading. This company is on a mission to help fight the pandemic and achieve a COVID-free Philippines, one vaccine dose at a time. Let's now have an exchange with Dr. Luningning Villa, Medical Director of Faberco Life Sciences, the local distributor of the Novavax vaccine. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. So far, 2 vaccines have arrived in the Philippines. Do you think this will improve confidence among our kababayans that it is time to get immunized and not to think twice?
Yes, of course. Having the 2 vaccines already available in the Philippines, that would help people, especially the health workers being the priority to be receiving the vaccine, to be protected because they are the ones who are really at risk of getting COVID. And of course, when we are seeing these health workers getting the vaccine and with less side effects, less reactions, that would boost as well the confidence of the people, no? When the time comes that they will be receiving the vaccine as well.
And you are the local distributor, doctor, of the Novavax vaccine. The country has ordered and it is currently awaiting the arrival of this vaccine. When will it be here on the ground in the Philippines?
As have been mentioned earlier, it will be on the 3rd quarter of July, but we're hoping that it will be on a 3rd quarter of this year, 2021, and we're hoping that it will be earlier, no, the earlier part of the 3rd quarter, probably in July.
All right, we will await that, Dr. Villa. And of course, reports have come out that the efficacy is close to 90%, but now we have in our shores the South Africa variants. How effective is the Novavax against this South Africa variant?
The vaccine of Novavax has been shown to be efficacious still against the South Africa variants at 60%. That would still be considered high. And against the UK variants, it's 85.6%. But for the original strain of SARS-CoV-2, which is still predominant in the Philippines, it's 95.6%. So around 96% efficacy against the original variants.
That's
the
good.
Original strains, I mean.
That's very good news, Dr. Villa. And this is Women's Month. Doctor, you are a role model for gender equality and women empowerment in your field. What is your advice to women who want to be like you and succeed in your field?
Well, first of all, a woman should be able to know her strengths and limitations, but she should also have a clear vision and insight on what needs to be done in as far as her field is concerned, she should also have respect for other people and should have the passion and perseverance to achieve something.
What must be the role of women during these challenging times, Dr. Villa, as we face this COVID-19 battle and the hesitancy of our kababayans?
Well, the role of women, whether a woman is in the family, is in the household, she would have a role to play to protect her children against COVID-19. No? But for the health workers, the woman could also be there managing or helping people who are sick of COVID. And of course, for us as well in the pharma industry, we as women, we have also, as a woman, I'm also bringing to my company my experience and my ideas that would help build the company as well. And my inputs, I think I would consider them as useful to the company, as I also appreciate my company, especially our founder and the board, to be appreciative and to also follow or would believe what I am giving them as insights.
Happy Women's Month, Dr. Lunining Villa, Medical Director of Faberco Life Sciences. I am truly inspired every day by the stories of amazing women. Our guests have shown that women must be in all places of the decision-making process. Women are a powerful and unifying force in creating change and reforms. And this is The Exchange. We make sense of the facts and the figures and the ups and downs of the business cycle because your business is our business. Thank you for joining us in honoring the Filipina as we celebrate Women's Month. I'm Rico Hizon, and we leave you now with these guiding words from women here and around the world.